they just pretty much maybe listen to the music or, you know, mess around on Instagram, catch up on social media. But me, nah, I decided to go ahead and go live. So we'll go ahead and run with it. How many of you guys like Chick-fil-A? But you're not going to believe what Judge Juan Merchan just did. Some experts believe that he may have just ensured that Donald Trump is acquitted from this hush money trial, with a jury convicted him on 34 counts of falsifying business records. Now, I want to just kind of go ahead and paint this picture for you guys here. There was a comment on the New York Unified Court on their Facebook page, on their Facebook account. And essentially, they celebrated the conviction of Donald Trump. Now, first of all, this is a big no-no, guys. You don't freaking celebrate the conviction. I mean, that instantly shows bias, but they did it anyway, right? Now, the issue is that they celebrated it a day before the conviction was even announced. Now, the comment allegedly came from one of the jurors' cousins, who was told that they found the former president guilty. Now, this is a huge problem for Judge Juan Merchan because basically he was forced to inform the defense team about this. He had to do it. He had to make them aware of it, right? Now, there's a lot of possibilities from this point on, as some analysts they're pretty much already saying that this should be considered a mistrial. Now, the issue is that the jury should not be disclosing information to the public. Now, we can believe that this is an issue. We can believe that this is maybe an internet troll who just wanted to be relevant for a few minutes. But the timing was the timing on this particular issue regarding when the comment was posted. It was just way too close to when the verdict was actually made to be known to the public. So this really suggested that this could very well be some insider information. So the question is, well, what happens now, guys? I'm going to leave it to you guys. What do y'all think happens now? Do you have any clue what may actually transpire next? But here's an exact report. Here's a recent report that discusses exactly what will happen next. Let's see how close you guys are on your guesses here.
Cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for all your hard work. All right, we got to bring in Jeremy Rosenthal yet again to talk about this. I'm sure he has lots of thoughts about this. Okay, Jeremy, a lot of people are talking about online this very comment saying, okay.
Oh, we got some ads here.
No one believed it at first, but now every
conviction, it's going to be vacated, it's going to be overturned. This was a mistrial. They don't even have to appeal it because of this very comment. Is that accurate? Is that how these things work here?
It's how they begin, and it's, again, kind of talking again about the sweater where you pull the thread. It can turn into that, but there's a long way to go. The law favors finality of judgments, and the law also favors leaving jurors alone and kind of letting them do their service. We want people to show up for jury duty. We don't want them to have to serve in perpetuity, and we don't want them really harassed after the fact. So there are privileges which prevent jurors from testifying. So to be clear, here's the steps that the Trump team needs to take. They need to get to the bottom of this. The judge alerted them to it, didn't have to do that. Very appropriate for Judge Merchan to do that. He alerted the Trump defense team of that and give them enough information to start investigating. They have to get to whether or not this thing is true. And then if it's true, they have to be able to file a motion that's got some legs behind it, that's going to show enough cause to kind of break through some of those privileges that are going to allow the jurors to testify. If there's a leak on that jury and there's some truth to this, then the issue becomes, okay, was there juror misconduct, and did the misconduct result in an unfair deliberations for Mr. Trump? So this is kind of how these things start.
Okay.
They're a long way from making any hay with this, But this is how it goes, and I think we talked about it, right? That in the days and weeks after the fact, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these types of issues. This jury was not sequestered. That was an issue. Maybe this is something. Maybe it's nothing.
And guys, I think the fact that the jury was not sequestered is a big issue. But right off the bat, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, you know, it's not insane to think that one of the jurors is out here spilling the beans about, you know, what's happening inside the courtroom. But to divulge the conviction before it's even announced, this is a bit much here. Now, the comment seems to be, you know, maybe it was deleted because I can't see it anymore. But while this analyst said that it was appropriate for Judge Marchand to inform both the prosecution and the defense team, others are more skeptical. I mean, you know, some critics believe that they want to keep Donald Trump busy for a few more weeks with this particular issue, but who knows what the real deal is here. Although it's still a long shot, but it does kind of open up the possibility of a mistrial. However, it's an easy layup for the Trump team to say that this was not a fair trial, because if this is actually proven to be true, then the jury, or at least one of them, did not keep the deliberations within the courtroom private. Massive problem. And it also wasn't free from outside the influence, as it looks like they were discussing this with their family members, relatives who may be in favor of finding Donald Trump guilty, for all we know, right? Now, the court could possibly take a few steps to address this, and it's not going to look good for the New York justice system, I can tell you that much. There's a high possibility that they investigate if this particular comment is actually valid. Some experts believe that Judge Marchand already knows the answer to this question. And this is why he was forced to send over his, this is why he was forced to send over to Donald Trump's defense attorney, Todd Blanche. He had to send this letter over. He had to cover his A, right? Now, what happens if this is deemed to be a mistrial? Well, the process might have to start over with a brand new jury. And this is what I was talking about a second ago, guys. And, you know, this might actually work out in the favor of DA Bragg, as it could keep Donald Trump busy, because it's not a secret that the DA wants to keep him off the campaign trail. However, this could also be good news for Donald Trump, because it's possible that they change venues because of this. Now, the idea is that it would be very unlikely for Donald Trump to find a fair set of jurors in New York City. And this is the same issue he's already dealt with, right? But it'd be even worse now. And this is what the defense can push on, because they can just simply say, hey, you know, the jury here was so biased that they were celebrating the guilty verdict even before the court could announce it. And there's also the possibility that the conviction could be overturned. That in and of itself would be a huge issue for Judge Juan Merchan, and this would also be highly problematic for President Joe Biden, who has gone on record to call Donald Trump a convicted felon. Now, this is not going to sit well with a lot of Democrats who probably have speeches already lined up to call Donald Trump a convicted felon, because there was a lot of speculation that they wanted to discredit Donald Trump as much as they could before the 2024 presidential election. But if the conviction is reversed, then it's Trump who would actually have the upper hand here, because he can go on the campaign trail and say, hey, they wanted to paint me as a convicted felon, but they failed because they're liars and they're crooks. So instead of basically getting what they want, they've just given Donald Trump more ammunition. But what do you guys think about this? You know, is Donald Trump about to be the first president to be convicted of a felony and then immediately have that ruling reversed and having Donald Trump completely acquitted? Now, I understand that we all have different perspectives, you know, and that's cool. But let's be respectful in the comments. By the way, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.